It's me, Heather. We are doing the Jack Daniels whiskey barrel tutorial today. As you can hear, my very loud Silhouette Cameo 2 is cutting my vinyl behind you. Behind you, Cameron.
For those of you joining, it's the super loud Silhouette Cameo 2 cutting Jack Daniels stuff so that we can be ready. Because we are totally prepared. This is us being prepared. And not being prepared. So,
Yeah,
hey Jessica. Hey Kelly.
Hi! Everybody seems to be excited about this tutorial. I'm as excited as everybody else is. This has been one of my top sellers that I've had. Apparently everybody loves Jack Daniels whiskey. I need some Jack Daniels whiskey in my life every once in a while. I don't know about you guys. So, we've got all my lovely alcoholings out.
It's so loud.
It is exceptionally loud. Cut it during the live, he said, it'll be fine.
I did not say that. Hey Brianne. Hey Brandy.
So, everybody asks, I'm going to move a little bit closer because that's exceptionally loud. What kind of brush everybody uses for the wood grain? This is a
Hi Michelle.
Cambridge 1.5 inch chip brush for varnish and acrylic. I bought a bag of these off of Amazon like 5 months ago or so, and I'm still using them.
Don't mind our, hey, for those of you that are just coming on, don't mind our Silhouette. It's super loud.
That's the Silhouette in the background. It's my Cameo 2. It is exceptionally loud and obnoxious. My 4 is not that loud. However, like Valerie, sometimes it doesn't want to cut through the vinyl. So we'd rather just stick with the 2 for the time being to make sure that it does what it's supposed to do. So I've got my...
Hi Christine. Okay. That's normal. Just stuff falling.
Don't worry about that. This is a 25-ounce stemless wine glass that I'm using for the barrel. I primered it white. I have my chip brush I got off of Amazon. And I have all my alcoholics.
Hi Judy.
The vinyl
Hi
is being cut now.
Dana, D-A-N-A? Okay, Dana. Hi Dana. Michelle said, I thought something was wrong with mine because it's really loud too. Glad it's not just me. And she also said, I just got a 4 and I have the same problem with cutting. Yeah, we have a lot of problem with it. Hey, Carrie.
I was talking to Valerie the other day. We did get I have a CB609 blade for my Cameo 2. And me and Valerie together discovered the other day that it will fit in the Cameo 4 with the little attachments that it comes with. I have not tried it yet.
Hi Lori. Hi Lisa.
So I don't know yet of how it works on the 4 because, like I said, it just pisses me off. It makes me redo a lot of stuff. So yeah.
Lisa said, how are we? She tried her first wood grain today. She's so excited.
Nice. Wood grain is a very good effect. Especially if you're doing this wine barrel. This is a wine glass. Men get deterred when they see that it's a wine glass, a stemless wine glass, but it's a very classy one. It does not have a feminine shape to it.
Hi Jody. Hi Chelsea.
So I have a variety of alcohol inks here. Sometimes I mix them. I do a line of one color and a line of another color, and sometimes I mix them all up to make them. I do my wood grains different than
Stephanie says she loves watching us because we're a great team. And Jessica said, what blade are you using for the 4? Mine won't cut with the auto blade, but the premium deep cut blade works amazingly.
Yeah, I think he was. So the 4 is Cameron's Silhouette. It's pink, so it fits him.
I'm cute.
So that's his machine that he uses, especially because it's Bluetooth, and my Cameo 2 is set up to my Mac desktop. So we were using the auto blade, and it would not cut through crap. I have recently switched it and fit it with this CB609 blade that you get off Amazon. It comes like this. I have not tried it yet, but I have used the same blade for my Cameo 2 now for probably about 9 months since I ordered it. But it looks like this, and you just fit it inside of this little adapter. And you snap it inside of there. Something like that.
Are you going to do the wood grain and you want me to weed this after? Or are you going to weed, or how you want to do it?
I don't know. We'll just roll with it, I guess.
Kelly says, have you had the inks change color when epoxy is applied? I have a wood grain turning tonight that turned green.
Yes, it does turn green. For the first 20 minutes or so, it does turn back. Mine all have turned back. It freaked me the hell out when it first turned green. Because one of them, I was doing a half baseball at the bottom and it turned green on me and I had a deadline. And I freaked the hell out, but it turned back the right color that it was supposed to turn. So... yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal. So
Valerie said, this is for me, huh? Since I can't get mine to work. LMAO.
yeah,
This is for everybody.
This is for everybody. I think everybody's having problems with the Cameo 4. So I have my alcohol inks here. I have Latte and Ginger. These are all Tim Holtz. And I have Butterscotch and Caramel, whatever you call it.
It's an anemone.
And teakwood. That's one of my favorites. This teakwood. It's very dark. I usually mix it with a lighter color.
Hey, Stephanie. She says, hey, family.
Hi! Stephanie's my homegirl. She hits me up all the time for help. And I'm always willing to help everybody. So I'm going to start off with a line of the caramel. I do my wood grains different than Lindsay. Her method looks a ton easier, but for some reason this is just stuck in my head. So I do a line of the alcohol inks, and I take my chipwood brush and I brush it down until it is all dry. It dries very quickly. And you'll see that I rotate out colors. I'm not going to use the rust.
Valerie said you said it right. It's caramel, not caramel.
Exactly. And it's pecan, not
Pecan.
I'm from the South. Don't make fun of me. And I'm not making fun of anybody else either. So I'm going to take the lids off to my butterscotch and my ginger. We're just going to mix things up a bit here. I'm going to try not to drop everything.
Hi, Annette. She says, hi, Heather and Cameron. Hey, everyone.
Hi. So I'm going to add a little bit of latte in there. I'm going to do another streak down like this. And I'm going to brush it until it's completely dry. You'll see I'm going to get alcohol ink all over my leg. Now in between here I have this white spot I'm going to go in between. So whiskey barrels to me are all different kinds of colors. So when I do mine, I like to add a bunch of different colors in it and like to make it a range of light to dark. And you'll notice the more I do it, the more it'll blend. Right there, it looks kind of crazy. You guys are like, what the hell is she doing with her life? And I'm like, I don't know. We're just rolling with it. It's really hot in my craft room, so my face is really red.
Everybody's watching.
What?
Everybody's watching.
Everybody's watching me sweat. Shh, don't tell nobody. This looks kind of crazy right now.
Stephanie said it already looks pretty.
Yeah. So you just keep going through with lines like that. Now I don't really squeeze the bottle as I go down. I really just run it down in a straight line. I'm going to get the bottom at the last, which is sometimes the hardest way to do it. However, that's the way I do it, because as I go around, you'll notice if you get any alcohol ink on top of alcohol ink, it will re-wet the alcohol ink and make it start running. So I wait to do the bottom until the very end, because I've noticed if I try to do it any other way, it just messes up as I go along.
Carrie says my husband would never sit there with me. You have a keeper.
He helps me do a lot of my crafting.
Liz said, where did you get the cup that shape from?
I got this one. You can get it from the Glitter Craze. I usually order it from the Glitter Craze. However, with shipments and things like that, they run out of stock a good bit. So this one actually came from Stainless Depot. But I like to buy my glitter and my cups together, so I save on shipping. So I usually try to get them from the Glitter Craze when they're in stock. But it is the 25-ounce stemless wine glass. I know this totally does not look like a wine glass. That's exactly what I said when I opened the box after I ordered them to give them a try.
Liz said, thank you for answering the question. Manuel said, did y'all have to paint the cup first? Yeah, she painted it white first.
Yes, I painted it a matte white. I always use Rust-Oleum for all my paints. So I painted it a white matte from Rust-Oleum.
Sherry said, can you post the colors you're using? She can.
Yes, I can definitely post the colors. You'll see that I'll go over in different areas. I'm using all different colors. I've got a variety here just to try and mix up the way that the colors are. So it looks like a real whiskey barrel. I'll go in with some teak wood right here in this line. Give it some variety. You always want to brush it and keep doing the brush strokes with your chip brush.
You're welcome, Sherry. We sprayed it on Manuel, and you have to forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong. If it's Manuel or Manuel, but yeah, she sprayed it on. She didn't brush it on.
Yeah, I sprayed it on. It's the spray paint. I know some people paint their cups with the. I've seen people do it with acrylic paint. I've never tried it, but I know it works well for some people.
You're welcome.
I know when it gets cold outside, it can make your spray paint crack. And some different things like that. I remember when Lindsay did her live with her wood grain that she did. She's like, what are all you guys talking about? That's how you do it. I'm totally doing it different than her.
Manuel said, it's all good. Messed it up. I've heard worse. Don't feel bad. My name's Cameron. People call me Carmen.
Carmen, yeah, that's a big one. Our son's name is Christian, and they call him Christina.
That adds a funny story.
Yeah, so we went to go get my son. He had a tongue tie under his tongue. So when he was 4 days old, we had to take him to get his tongue tie clipped. The lady stood there and told me that she did not have an appointment for a Christian Myers. She had an appointment for a Christina Myers. And there must have been some type of mix-up with my doctor because she doesn't have an appointment for Christian Myers. So now he walks around and we call him Christina because it's way more fun that way. I'm trying to do it quickly, but that's where we are so far. Do some caramel.
Manuel said he served in the Marines and so many killed his last name. Thanks for your service, number one. Happy belated Memorial Day. And I can only imagine people killing your last name. Or your first name. Yeah, your last name too. Morones. It sounds Spanish. I could just be adding the Spanish accent and probably sounding racist, but...
Here's a fun fact. Cameron is very, very fluent in Spanish.
Carrie said her nephew's name is Cameron. Is Caraman? Caraman. C-A-R-A-M-O-N. I'm assuming that's Caraman. Tiffany says, do you know how to remove alcohol ink from hardwood floor? Asking for a friend.
Yes. The best way to remove it is alcohol.
Remove alcohol with alcohol.
Alcohol ink with alcohol.
Sherry said it's so pretty. Virginia says, I'm late. What colors are you using? I'll go over that in just one quick second. And Manuel said that wood grain looks nice. You said it right though. Morones. I did say it right. Boom. All right, so these are the colors that she's using. That is latte, teakwood, caramel, ginger, and butterscotch.
Those are all Tim Holtz. And I get all my alcohol inks from the Glitter Craze as well. Teakwood is hard to find. It stays sold out, and it stays sold out for a reason. It's one of my favorites. Not that I'm buying it all. I mean, totally not what I'm saying, but it's one of my favorites. I love it.
Yeah, I did say the child's name right. Caraman. That's
like
interesting, yeah. Oh, I can only imagine his last name. Robin? Her. I'm so sorry. Robin Bolu is what I'm going to assume that's how that's said, and probably destroy it at the same time.
We're sorry if we get you
Valerie
wrong.
says hand sanitizer works great to remove it from skin.
Yes, I use alcohol to remove it from skin too, but I'm kind of harsh like that.
And Tiffany said, well, duh, that's the only thing I didn't try. Talk about getting it off the hardwood floor. And Virginia said,
shit.
thank
See,
you.
I'm going to need that.
Ooh.
This is why I keep a rug in my craft room. I have hardwood floors. And I keep a big fugly rug in my craft room for the simple purpose of me spilling shit all over it all the time.
I mean, I don't think it's fugly.
It's kind of fugly.
I mean, it's alright.
It has epoxy on it. It's covered in glitter. Now has alcohol ink. For sure has alcohol ink on it. Oh crap. So you see, I made some dots right there. So you're gonna see how I fix that in a second. You'll see a few little white spots right here. You'll see my dots that I made. And I still got to get the bottom. So to fix the dots, you're going to see really quick that with alcohol ink, when you go over alcohol ink, it starts to make it all wet again. So you'll see that ta-da, all fixed. But it took off the first layer and it kind of blended the two together. That's one of the beauties of it. So I've got a little wet spot right there, or white spot, not a wet spot. So we're going to go like that. Sometimes when you fix spots like that, it adds detail to it. I'm not crazy about that one right there. So.
People are trying to guess how to spell that, how to say Robin's last name. Manuel said one of his daughter's name is Melina. Some people call her Molina. Mariella says thanks for doing this wood grain. If people are guessing how to say her last name still. I like espresso ink is what Lolita says.
Yes.
And then Manuel says how much y'all charge for cups.
So my cups are relatively cheaper than what I see some people sell their cups for. So something like this is $30. When I do my glitter cups, a 30 ounce with glitter is $40. A 30 ounce without glitter is $35. A 20 ounce with glitter is $30. So I take the ounce of the cup, so it's a 20 ounce cup. $25 is my base price without any glitter, glow powder, or anything fancy like that.
Hi, Vicky.
Or my is that liquid crystal? Anything fancy like that, I charge at least $5 extra for it. Glitter is $5 extra, so $25 for the 20 ounce, $5 extra for glitter and any extras, $30, $35 for a 30 ounce, $5 extra for anything. And anything like this, I charge $30 for this. And it's really a simple cup. It's super, super simple. I sold my first one within 4 minutes to one of my friends on Facebook. I posted a picture of it. It says, hey guys, check out this beauty. What do you think? And within 4 minutes, my friend messaged me. She says, I want it. It's mine. Put my brother's name on it. It's for his birthday. So within 4 minutes, it was sold off of my personal Facebook page.
Hi, Wanda. Someone asked what colors we're using. I'll go over that in just one more second.
So this is how I'm doing the bottom. You'll notice if it runs over to the side right there, you'll see it just a little bit on that side, and I'll go back and fix that. On the bottom, you always want to do it rather quickly, because you'll see it's running fast. And you want to catch it before it rolls over to the other side like that spot did. But if you catch it while it's still wet and running, you can just wipe it with your brush like that. Even this spot that rolled over to the edge a little bit, you can see it just gave it more of a wood look, more of a not so perfect look. This right here is where the teak wood rolled over to the top. I'll probably go back and fix that, and it's super easy to fix a spot. This right here has a white spot, so I'll probably go back and fix that. It's really easy to fix alcohol inks when you're doing a wood grain cup. You just go over one with the other. So I'm just mixing all my colors together there. When I think of a whiskey barrel, I think of it being all different kinds of colors because it's aged. My Jack Daniel's whiskey says that it comes in an aged barrel, so I like to think of it being aged.
Brenna said, are you using a specific brush? She bought these off of Amazon.
I got those off of Amazon.
They are Cambridge 1.5 inch chip brush. They're used for varnish and acrylic. But yeah, those are the ones that she bought. So, Jordan says she missed the beginning. What is used for the base? It's just spray painted white.
It's just a white spray painted cup. This is a 25-ounce stemless wine glass. I got this particular one from Stainless Depot. I always order my cups through the Glitter Craze if they have them in stock. Sometimes they don't have them in stock because everybody likes to order their cups with their glitter like I do. I don't like that line right there. It looks really light, so I'm going to go back over that with a little bit of a darker color.
Hi, Debbie. Where did you purchase your tumbler?
I got it from Stainless
Steel
Depot.
Yes, and Savannah asked what colors you're using, so I'm going to go over this again. Let's see. Put them all together. You don't mind, right?
No, I don't mind.
Alright, so we have teak wood, ginger, caramel, latte, and butterscotch.
I'm just going back and messing things up more than I did before. You can't really mess up a wood grain. You see, I just let that run all sideways, and it really just gave it more of a realistic look.
Savannah got excited. I have all of those. What size tumbler?
25-ounce stemless wine glass. So you'll see this is my cup. See that spot right there is not making me happy. Just go back over it with a little bit and just brush it until it's dry. See, that looks green to me. I don't like it. Go back over it. Brush it till it's dry. Super simple. It's kind of hard to mess up. You can even tilt the cup upside down and do it a different direction. Do it a little bit to the side. Give it a little bit of a different look. So to me it looks like a rustic wine barrel, or whiskey barrel to me. That's the bottom. You see a little bit of a white spot right there. So, a little drop. And see, it just gives it a little bit more definition. Each time you go over it and brush it a different direction, or do a shorter line in the middle, like if I use ginger. Like if I do halfway, like that, and I just brush it back and forth, it gives it a rustic look. It makes it look more like real wood.
After you're finished, how or do you seal the tumbler?
So, I'm going to go outside and spray it with a very light coat of matte spray. Matte spray paint, matte clear spray paint. The reason I'm going to do that is because I am not going to epoxy this cup before I stick the decals on it. Mainly just to save time. So I'm going to go outside real quick and spray paint this with matte clear. That's what it looks like before. Now sometimes, depending on if you do a really heavy coat of matte clear on your cup, you will see it somewhat change colors. I have seen it change to like a light green or so, but every time mine always goes back. So I'm going to go outside and do that real quick. And then Cameron can go over an offset with you guys if you want, or anything like that. I know we've got to weed the vinyl, so I did upload the images that I'm going to be using for the wine barrel as far as the black strips, as well as the label, the Jack Daniels label. I uploaded that to my original post where I said that I was going to go live at 9:30 tonight. So you can definitely check that out. I can also upload the silhouette version of it so that when you click on it, it automatically brings up your silhouette software and you're ready to cut. So I'm going to run outside real quick and I'm going to spray this with a matte clear and I will be right back.
And I'm following you, so.
Oh, okay. Well, come on, everybody. My paint station out here. Ooh, that sounds nifty. So I'm using Rust-Oleum 2x Ultra Clear Matte Clear. So usually when I do my water slides or something like that, I get right up on it. But when I'm doing a dust spray like this, you'll see that it starts turning green in some spots. I lightly dust it. The main purpose of that is if I lay down my vinyl or my vinyl strips and it's not completely straight, it will discolor your wood grain by pulling it back up. It does remove some of the alcohol ink. You can see an impression in it where it was before, where the vinyl was before. So I like to come out here and clear it, do a light dusting of clear. You can see that it's already starting to turn back to brown instead of green. When it dries, it will go from green back to its normal color. Why it does that, no idea. But it did freak me out the first time I did it. So.
Thanks about the compliment for the room. Wanda says nice room.
Thanks.
Yeah,
It's kind of a mess right
she's not spoiled at all when it comes to this stuff.
So.
She'll upload the silhouette file for you.
Yeah, I can upload it. I think I was trying to send it to Valerie and I may have emailed it to her and forgot to attach the attachment. So
Don't mind me, I'm just over here trying to do this.
So he's gonna unload this from it.
I had to cut that top part a second time, so you may have one line that's gonna be kind of wonky,
Yeah, I see that.
but I can always cut another one.
Anyone else hate when their cutting mat gets not so sticky as it was when you first got it?
So you guys are getting to see a brand new cutting mat.
Yeah.
That sticks a little too much.
Yeah.
Manuel says, how long does it take to dry?
Usually like 5 to 10 minutes. It usually dries pretty quick. I've sealed a water slide before, like right before a live. So that was fun. And it actually worked perfect. Oh shit. I cut off the bottom of the E.
Of what? For Jack Daniels?
Yeah, for the whiskey. So I'll cut this out just to save this for some other thing that I'm going to do later that needs that size piece of vinyl.
I could always just recut the E.
Yeah, I know. So, some people layer vinyl differently. When I first started learning how to layer vinyl, I would put little squares down at the bottom. before I cut it. So I would put a little square. You know, there's a little option in your Silhouette software for you to draw a square. And that was a wonky line. So I will put a square down at the bottom, like right underneath what I'm cutting out. So if I'm doing this gold, I would put a little square right down here. One on this side, one on that side. And I will put one on this side when I do the black. I will layer them on top of each other and do the squares in the same spot. So that when they cut out and I pick it up with my transfer tape, it picks up the little squares down at the bottom, little rectangles. One on each side. So that when I'm trying to line up how I lay one layer on top of another, I line up my squares at the bottom so that I know that it's perfectly straight.
Yeah, so Sherry said awesome craft room, I love it. And Manuel says where y'all located. Valerie says set up that laser, you'll be forever hooked.
Yes, it is sitting over there in a really big heavy box. I don't know where I'm going to put it yet.
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot of room.
That's the dilemma.
Manuel said my wife asked if we provide everything, how much would y'all charge to make the cup? Well, it depends on what kind of cup you're trying to make, Manuel. If it's one like this,
talking about the whiskey barrel cup.
yeah, if it's one like this, we can get you a quote.
Take off the cost of the cup. We are actually located out of Savannah, Georgia. We're in a smaller town called Rincon. Most people don't know where that is. Down here, stinking Rincon. But I'd have to look at it to see what I paid for the cup and all that good jazz, but I wouldn't mind making you a cup.
Denise said they're called anchors, talking about the squares.
Yes.
I've also heard them as registration marks.
Yeah, registration marks. I've seen that for cutting vinyl. I've heard of that name before. Now I've been layering vinyl so much that I haven't used them in a really long time, but it is a good thing to start off with if you're not used to layering the vinyl by hand.
It takes the fear out of it.
Yeah, it takes the fear out of getting it crooked. When you stick it on there, it is stuck.
Rhonda said, what laser did you buy?
It's the Brothers something.
While she's weeding it, I'll just show you.
Yeah.
Jennifer said Macon, Georgia. Woo-hoo. And Manuel said Rosenberg, Texas.
Ooh.
This is the one.
That sounds fancy.
HL3210CW, digital color printer. They have so many different laser ones that only print black and white. So she wanted a color one, and I told her to order it. So.
Wonder how they got there. Huh. Maybe they were stuck in the night.
Ooh, ow.
So I'm going to give you guys a lovely little trick about something. Nothing to do with this, but just an alcohol inks trick. So I was making a cup the other day. Oh, I think it was a Galaxy cup. Maybe. I'm not really sure. Anyways, and I put the wrong lid back onto my alcohol ink. Now the only one that I found that really messed things up was my white. I put a pink alcohol ink lid back on my white alcohol ink. And my whole bottle of white alcohol ink is now this cloudy looking pink stuff. So, for all you guys out there that mix up your alcohol ink lids, just make sure you put the white one on the white one. Because I totally messed up my whole bottle of white alcohol ink.
Tanya said, what would you do for Cricut and layering? We're still in the process of really dabbling with the Cricut because we have cameos for both of ours. So we don't really play with the Cricut much. I could always do research on it, try to help you. Carla says she's from Savannah, has a ton of family in Rincon. Her grandmother lives on McCall. Her house burned down a few years ago. Sorry to hear that. Rhonda said Midland,
We're
Texas.
actually not far from McCall Road.
Yeah, we're not.
I think that's one street over.
I think so. It's probably.
Yeah.
Midland, Texas, Cordell, Georgia. And it says you won't have to seal it anymore. Woo! Talking about with the laser.
Yes.
Judy said, will Cameron run the ink the same way as he did with the inkjet printer? I don't think so, because I don't know that there's an option to run continuous ink with a laser printer. Don't think I won't be doing research on it. If I end up figuring out that I can do it that way, I will, because it has saved us a ton of money.
Yeah, we print stuff with continuous ink. I could print pages for days, and I haven't ran out of ink. I think We've had the continuous ink set up on the inkjet printer for what?
A year probably.
Yeah, and we just bought new bottles
Yeah.
of ink to refill it with.
Lizella, Georgia. How much is the download for this, Deanna? Don't worry about it. Or Diana, sorry. I have a friend named Deanna. Don't worry about it, how much or costing or paying for the download. She's just going to upload it so you guys can use it. Stephanie said she's from Alaska.
Wow. Ooh. I bet I'd love it in Alaska. I like it when it's cold. It's never cold in Georgia.
Lisa said, I just asked her advice a couple of weeks ago about ceiling water slide. Bought a laser 3 days later. So happy I did. Heather's going to love it. Fort Myers, Florida. Oksana says, what are y'all doing? We're going to go over that for you. She's doing a Jack Daniel's whiskey barrel.
I'm actually weeding some vinyl right now.
Yeah, she's weeding right now.
I didn't come completely prepared. So I'm kind of doing it in the middle of my life.
Rosemary says Nova Scotia, Canada. Kentucky. We got a Kentucky from Wanda. Stephanie says, where'd you get the Jack Daniel's SVG?
I actually made this. So I went on Google and I found the original Jack Daniel's label. And I took out the big fuzzy outline and I took out everything except for this stuff.
You didn't really cut it off too bad to where it's going to make the E look
No,
any
I
worse.
think it'll be fine.
Yeah, just roll with it. Prattville, Alabama. Bossier City, Louisiana. Iowa. Diana said, awesome, thank you. Gulfport. I think that's Mississippi. MS?
Yes. Yep. Yes.
Or Missouri?
Maybe.
Mississippi? Not sure. Columbia, South Carolina. Amarillo, Texas.
Columbia, South Carolina is not far at all.
Did you have to wrap the decal? Warp. I'm so sorry.
No,
Did
I
you
did
warp
not.
it? No,
I did
she
not
didn't warp
have
it.
to warp the
Eustis,
decal.
Florida. I've been there.
It
Well-
is to the perfect size that you don't really have to warp this image. I don't really mess with the warp feature too much, to be honest. I've done it. I've dabbled around in it. I know how to warp it to my cup and all that good jazz.
What vinyl cutter do you use? We use the Silhouette Cameo.
I use the Silhouette Cameo 2.
You have 2 and we have the 4. Palm Springs, California. Northfield, Ohio. Rancho Santa Margarita, California. That's a mouthful.
Margarita,
Right.
California.
Austin, Texas. New Brunswick, Canada. Salisaw, Oklahoma. What is warp? That's a feature we can go over if you guys would like us to.
The warp feature is where you can actually take an image and you can bend it to the cup, so it actually warps your image to where it fits to your cup, so you don't have to worry about laying it flat on. It's kind of hard to explain. I just realized this because I sound like an idiot. That yeah, it's a feature.
She said, somebody said pick pens work so amazing, work so awesome for weeding. Valerie said, seriously, nobody knows where Eustis is. I actually did door-to-door sales in the Orlando, Florida area. So we used to travel to Eustis, St. Cloud, Winter Garden, Altamont Springs.
So
I went
here's
all the way
fun
up to
facts.
Ocala. Fun facts.
Some more fun facts about Cameron and I. I used to be a car salesman before I had my last
Saleswoman.
job. Salesman, whatever. I did finance I was a finance manager of the dealership that I worked for. Then before that, I've been to culinary school. I've been to cosmetology school. I went to school for an associate's degree in paralegal studies. Am I missing anything? I don't think so. Yeah.
And you graduated high school.
And I graduated high school. Cameron is a salesman now. His family owns a pharmacy. He was in the pharmacy field for about 10 years.
If not longer.
And he was a pharmacy tech for about 10 years. He started school to be a pharmacist, and he did not complete it, which is like most of my college careers. I didn't complete anything either. So yeah, that's some fun facts. I have 2 kids, 8 years old and 1. The 1-year-old is hell on wheels. Please pray for me. Yeah. He likes to get 4 teeth at a time. Because it's more fun that way, right?
Irma says she's from Salem, Arkansas.
Ooh.
Robin said, I'm late. Love your videos. Heather and Cameron from Michigan.
Michigan.
Jordan said, no, I got you. That's nice to have. She's talking about the warp feature. Manuel says I have the Cameo 3, getting the 4 in a couple of months. We recommend, we kind of like the 2 and the 3 just because we're used to them, I guess.
That everybody's saying about the 4 is that it's not cut. It's hard to get it to cut through vinyl.
I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah, he's gonna figure it out. I don't have the patience for it.
I'm gonna figure it out. But Ocala, Florida, woo, I've been there. Valerie says, "Wow, talking about all your stuff."
Yeah.
Getting
so
to know Heather.
I have a lot of tricks in the trades. I think I made the most money selling cars. I was a very good car salesperson, mainly because I knew how to do all the financing for all of my deals. Now I do title. Oh, I forgot I was a title clerk too. Now I do title paperwork for 2 different dealerships. And I'm a stay-at-home mom, and full-time stay-at-home mom. And I have my cup business. And me and Cameron sell cars on the side. So
Brittany said, "Second child's always hell on wheels." Lindsay. It's probably Lindsay. Lynnze. Unique spelling.
I like that.
I use a mechanical pencil, like my favorite one, and put a needle inside instead of lead to weed. I'm in love.
I've seen someone also epoxy the needle to the inside of it, like they put a little bit of epoxy around it so that it sticks the needle just out a little bit. I'd be worried that my kid would grab it and stab himself in the eye.
Yeah, having kids for that's not always easy. Manuel says he likes the 3. It's a workhorse. Valdosta, I've been there. That's Wild Adventures is there. Tori says my daughter got 4 teeth at one time too. It was a pain, but I'm glad they came in quick and together rather than forever teething. Valerie says she hates her Cameo 4. Pensacola, Florida. Slap Out, Alabama. If that's not one of the most, if that's not one of the most.
How do I go there?
Yeah, is that where they host UFC fights?
So I'm sticking the black words to my vinyl first. Wait, to my transfer tape. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm so excited about Slap Place. Yeah.
Slap Out.
Slap Out, yeah. I want to go there. So I'm going to stick this to my vinyl first.
Diana says she went to beauty school and she's in finance now. Twins.
Twinsy.
Debbie says I didn't care for the title worker. I guess you worked at a dealership.
Yeah.
She says she loves her Cameo too. The CB09 Blade's the best. James
That's
Hall.
what it's called, CB09. I was close.
Yeah. James Hall says my wife works there.
Where?
Your wife works where? And Panama City Beach, Florida. Super small town, is what Tori says.
That is so pretty.
Oh, she's talking about Slap Out. She says Slap Out's a super small town. It's probably like Swainsboro
It's
or
awesome though.
Hope You Like It, Georgia, which is like you blink and you miss it.
Okay, so I've got my black stuck on here, all pretty, and so we're gonna see. I'm probably gonna screw it up.
You want me to do it?
No, I screw everything up. I screw everything up on a live, right? That's just how it goes. So I put it in there, just as pretty as it'll go.
Oh, his wife works at Wild Adventures.
Oh, and then I just lay it down. So, boom. Isn't it pretty? Even my dots line up. Dang, I did pretty good on that one.
Loveland, Colorado. Man, what else if you get your ratchet blade, leave it at 10 and don't worry about it until it gets dull.
Okay, so here's the fun part, you guys. This is my least favorite part. Is getting both layers off of this fucking backing right here. See, it just wants to pull up black. So we're just going to leave that for a second. Because I'm going to find my scraper. But first, I'm going to put... What did I do with my cup? Oh, it's up there. I knew that. I'm going to grab my cup. It's all dry now.
Annette says perfect. Debbie said, so where's the square? Are you thinking about the actual Jack Daniels bottle?
Yeah,
because this is round. She doesn't actually put the square because that would be a job.
Squiggly square around it, so I just edited it and took that all out, so it was easier for me to layer it with the gold underneath it. So I just took all of that fun jazzy stuff out, and I didn't really like it for the barrel. However, you could definitely do it that way. So this is my long strip of black. Fun part about this is There's...
She's talking about the marks, but because of the fact that she doesn't do the registration marks or the anchors for those. She just does it by eye now.
I just do it by eye. When I first started out, I did it with the little squares on it, but I haven't done that in a while because I layer vinyl so much that I don't really do that anymore. So I'm going to start at the top. This is the top. Sometimes I get it confused. I'm going to start putting this down. Now, you're going to notice that it is pretty much impossible to get this damn thing straight all the way around this cup because this cup is curved. You have to actually be looking at it to see if it's straight or not. So don't stress yourself out about it not being absolutely perfectly straight. I stressed myself out the first time I did this cup. I got over it.
Hi, Tracy. She says hi to you.
Hi!
Manuel says scrape from the back side when you double layer.
Yeah.
And Nicole says she wants to buy this for her hubby.
Yes, this is one of my top selling cups. I sold some to people in Florida, some people out of state. It's one of my top selling cups. Jana, who is also a member in this group, love the girl, lady, girl. I call everybody girl. Her husband got one of these.
Andy Burns, actually, one of my coworkers' husband got one too. I was about to say he's in the group, but he's totally not.
He's totally not in the group.
Because he's in the beer group.
So I'm going to save this little strip because the next line down is going to be, it's going to need to be a little bit longer. And just in case, for some reason, it is not long enough to go all the way around, I will match it up and I will use that little strip. Ooh, that one's, ooh, I'm not going to use that one. That's complicated. That one is in two different pieces. So we're going to wrap this one around. You'll see that this isn't not completely, absolutely straight. The most important thing is that they meet up at the same end and they're not visibly crooked as hell. That's the goal here. So I'm going to go a little bit further down, just like a normal whiskey barrel. I always start a little towards the end, or the little off from the beginning of it. I don't like for mine to meet up in the same exact spot because it draws attention to that area of the cup. For the simple fact that you see the seam there. You have to look really hard, but,
Carrie says this is a popular seller too for her.
Yes.
She said hers is a little different. She's working on a Jim Beam one right now. Manuel said had thicker the lines. We can get you the dimensions if need be. And Judy said, where did you buy your laser printer? I've been looking at that one. Lindsay has it and recommended it.
I got mine off Amazon. One of the lovely ladies of this group sent me an Amazon card for helping her out, although she did not have to do that. I used that. That was a good cause for me to go and buy a laser printer. And I also bought the laser printer water slide paper to go with it. I have not hooked it up yet because I have no idea where I'm going to set that monstrosity up in my craft room. I'm at a loss on that part. So, in the coming days, I have to figure that out. So, starting at the bottom, I'm going to start at the line closest to the bottom rim of the cup. I'm going to spin the cup around. I always pull the vinyl a little taut, so it's easier to see somewhat of a straight line. Not that helps. Don't listen to me. So I'm going to take this off. Shit. We're going to cover that up. You see how easily I just covered that little boo-boo up I just did? I just dug my fingernail in that. That was stupid. Where there's a will, there's a way. It's still going up a little bit high. Oh well.
You can always X-Acto it off.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I dug my fingernail into it.
No, I know.
I'm trying to cover up that little spot with my vinyl. There we go. Close enough. Yeah, that's close enough. Yeah, not really. Let's start over. See, this is always an option too. Now, if I wouldn't have cleared this cup, you would be able to see a faint line in a color distortion between where I pulled this vinyl off, because it would have took up some of the alcohol ink and created a line. Here's my second line. Now this third one that Cameron cut out for me is a little bit wonky, because it breaks off into two different pieces. And I don't know that it is the same size as this one. It is not, so we're gonna have to cut another line.
I'll do it.
Okay.
And Carol said, where are these files posted?
Hold on, let me turn it around. So I posted these images. I will post them again. I will go back into the Glitter Craze group and I will post the images again. I posted them in my original post where I put that I was going to go live today at 9:30 Standard Eastern Time. God, my ears are red. It's hot. I posted them in there as an image that you can right click and copy and paste into your Silhouette software and then trace it. And it also has the offset for it. So the offset is already separate from the black words, so it's the yellow image off to the side. I can... What? What? Oh. You don't need that, Matt. Just... But I will upload the image into the Glitter Craze group for the Silhouette version, as well as the JPEG, PNG, one of those two. Yeah, one of those. So you guys saw my tutorial about my wine glass while he's cutting that. It won't take but a second. I made this one the other day. It's for a Gryffindor fan. Looks super awesome. Super rad. Shh. You're welcome. You're welcome. Everybody's saying thank you. I'm always about sharing all the images that I have. I'm more than willing to share with everybody. I create a lot of my images. I go to Google, right-click them, copy them, go to my Silhouette software, right-click the screen, paste them, and then I do the trace tool, which I believe is also in the free edition of the Silhouette software. Your glitter peels off. You gotta seal it. And you gotta do it, you gotta let it... I used the designer clear adhesive on this one, and I'm gonna spray it with matte clear after I get done with this. I let it dry for quite some time before I did another layer of each. It probably has 2 layers of the glow powder, and then it has 1 layer of glitter. I'm going to take it outside and I'm going to wrap it with the, what is that crap called? Press and seal. It's down there. That's why I looked at it. I'm going to put the press and seal up to the ridge of it, all the way up to here, and I'm going to take it outside and I'm going to spray it with matte clear. You can also epoxy it. I haven't had any of mine peel off unless the cup gets extremely hot. So I haven't really had that problem with it. I did switch to designer clear adhesive from the Glitter Craze, so I'm not really sure if that makes a difference or not. He's taking the phone back.
Siba, Siba are your friends.
Hi, Siba. Siba, my friend.
Oh yeah, we could do really cool voices, by the way. Alright, so we're going to stick this last little one on here.
Hi, Shannon.
We're gonna try and space it out. Just
Wanda says, thank you. I love it.
You're welcome. I always like helping people.
I'm a newbie in this. That's what she
Newbies,
says.
message me if you have any questions. I was a newbie once, so I'm always willing to help you. I know what it's like to be a newbie and to have tons of questions, and you may think that your questions are stupid, but sometimes, most of the time, your questions aren't as stupid as you think they are.
Everybody else wants to ask them, they just don't.
Yeah, and they just don't.
Or won't. Or are scared to. Because they might have been scolded at one point in time before, but that's not going to happen here.
Too many questions.
Hello there from Vancouver Island.
Ooh, that sounds fancy. I want to go to a fancy place one day. I'm just kidding. I'm not the fancy type. Cameron took me to the Jekyll Island Club Resort the other day. It was too damn fancy for me. There was like women carrying around, like women walking, and the man
You were about to
was-
say that.
The man was carrying her little glitter purse behind her. Like, yeah, they were playing croquet in the middle of
Cricket?
Yeah, cricket.
Yeah,
Why is it
cricket.
I thought it was croquet. Whatever. Anyways, they were playing this fancy game out in the middle of the lot, and it made me feel.
Wanda said thank you.
Yeah.
Tanya says, oh my god, I'm late. We must be a different time zone. We are. If you are, we're in Eastern Standard Time. That's why she tried to list that. Sorry.
Yeah, I always try to list it because I know everybody's from like everywhere.
Yeah, right?
One of my besties is my new besties. Well, she may not think we're besties, but we kind of are. She's in Greenland, and it's way too late there for her to watch my live, so she gets to watch a replay.
Manuel says willing to help out here. I'm guessing he's willing to help out as well. That's always nice.
Yes.
Valerie said, thank God for you. Patsy says, I'm scared to start. Don't be scared to start.
Yeah, no, don't be scared to start.
The
I was
only way to
scared
do it is
start
to dive in. She did. Her very first cup was a fabric cup, and trust me,
It
if
was
you want to
not
hear a girl
easy.
cuss, let her try to do a fabric cup again. Because granted, she knows how to do them now, but in the beginning, she was like, "Fuck!" every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So don't be scared to start. The worst case scenario, you mess up, you can always strip it. You can always
Strip
redo
it
it.
and start over.
You can
It's
keep
a learning
going.
Process. Go to. If you want some test cups, go to a yard sale and find some
Mhm.
stainless steel cups. Do practice cups. Strip it if you mess up. Start over. You've maybe $1 in a cup. You're not. You have to start somewhere, and trust me, you're gonna mess up. I messed up a lot.
I'm curious if she feels like she asked too many questions. You don't. You
You don't.
can't. Chris says, does that cup fit in a cup holder?
You know, I don't know. We can go out to my car and we can see. I'm about that game. Ooh, we
Thank
can
you,
go-
Annette. I appreciate your comment.
Ugh, I'm sticking.
Amy says she's from, I'm going to say Cabot, and I'm probably going to say that wrong, Arkansas.
Arkansas. I want to travel one day.
Manuel says, we're down. I'm down. You guys give us destination ideas. We'll go. Manuel says, when me and the wife go into the t-shirt supplier, I always get asked how to do something, and I give out the best way to do something. I should probably be showing how you're doing that. Tanya says, I'm in Houston, Texas.
I've always wanted to go to Texas. It's like my boss that owns the car lot. He's like one of my best friends. He's an asshole, but he's like my best friend. He works for the car lot that I've worked for on and off for about 6 years now. He's from Texas, and he says it's very nice there. That the people are nice there, and he goes there all the time. One time, he drove all the way to Texas to get the Dr. Pepper. What is it?
Dark berry?
Dark berry. He flew to Texas, rented a car, and loaded it up with about, I don't know, 2.5 pallets of Dr. Pepper, dark
He's
berry,
so
which
weird.
you couldn't find here because he has some friends that lives in Texas, and he works for I guess it's Pepsi, I think, Pepsi distributor. And so he hooked him up and said that they had tons of it there because nobody in Texas wanted to drink it. So he flew there and drove back a pallet and a half or 2 pallets or something like that worth of Dr. Pepper.
Manuel says he does more shirts than cups. He's about to start doing cups. Margie says, beautiful here, very laid back.
Oh, yeah.
Olivia says, love this tumbler. Diane says, have you ever had water slides start to curl after you apply when they start drying? If so, how to avoid it?
I have not. I think I saw someone post a picture of it in the group earlier. and the water slide paper looked really funny to me. It didn't look like clear water slide. I've never had that happen before. I'm curious as to what kind of water slide paper you're using and what you're using to seal it with.
Debbie says nightmare fabric.
Yes.
And Shannon said fabric hates me. I gave up on that one.
Fabric doesn't necessarily hate me. It's just when you get a pattern that has straight lines in it, it gets really hard to get the fabric onto the cup when the cup has a curve at the bottom. So if you use a modern curve and you're pulling it at an angle, your whole design is going to start going at an angle when it started off like this.
Yeah, you can't warp
Yeah,
fabric.
You can't warp fabric, so that really pisses
Unless, what if you warped an image and sublimated it onto fabric?
So I was messing with that idea. So I got so I'm set up to do sublimation. And I got some fabric that had a high polyester blend. It was some white fabric, and I was actually going to sublimate images onto the fabric and put them on a cup because I couldn't find the designs that I really wanted. So I was actually going to sublimate my own fabric to do on my own cup. I never got to that because I learned the trick to water slides and some of the other things that I've been doing. But that was something I was going to try. Not sure if anybody's ever thought of that before, but I was going to give it a try.
Good point, Shannon. She said Dollar Store has great test cups.
Yes, that is very true.
Hi, Bella. She's from Cypress, Texas. Apparently I said Cabot right. In Kansasville, Wisconsin. Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm from Minnesota.
So I'm going to let the master stick this because I'm not the best at getting things straight.
Caught up on the comments, too.
Now oh my god, I love the cream soda Dr. Pepper. It's my favorite. Besides Fresca, because I mix it with my vodka. Speaking of vodka, Nola, Louisiana.
And for those of you that like, or since I'm apparently quote unquote the master of laying decals and laying them on straight, once you kind of get your things on the way that you want them to be, I always start in the middle. It seems like it helps me a ton better. And then I work from the inside out. I don't know if you guys are newbies to vinyl. Those of you that are kind of, scared to start, this is always good little tips and tricks that always bothered me in the beginning, and I ended up learning how to do them so it didn't bother me as much. I just work very slowly. Take your time. Don't get all in a rush about it. I think that's where Miss Queen over here has a problem sometimes. She does great with...
I'll throw it. I'm one of those people.
With some things.
Tanya, I print my inkjet water slides. I print them from my Silhouette software. If you go in, you can change the page type to an 8.5 by 11, and it gives you a red little box so that you can have where it's actually going to print out on your page. So I print it directly from my Silhouette software. You want to see a fabric cup. Oh, my butt's in the way. Come on, Cameron, you got to move. Oh, God. Ugh. So this is my Harry Potter fabric cup. It is completely wrapped in fabric. And it is, I did a tutorial on this, so if you look up my name, you can see how I actually did it. So it's completely wrapped in fabric. I got this fabric from Walmart. I used transfer tape from Amazon. For this cup, I used, the alcohol ink colors are Latte, Butterscotch, Ginger, Caramel, and Teakwood. I used Haze Clear Water Slide and seal after about an hour with Rust-Oleum. Try using Plasti Dip in between your layers of Rust-Oleum Clear. That is a huge game changer. I did a live on it. You can look up my name, or you can go to the albums inside of the group and look up a file called Heather's Lives. And in the comments, there is links to all of my lives except for this one. Ooh, she was reading a review on these cups. It says it doesn't fit in a traditional car cup holder. That is the same with my 22-ounce fatty. That is my Clorox cups that are huge sellers. I've sold 21 of them to one person. I know those do not fit inside of a general car cup holder either. Ooh, Valerie, you're doing it as you watch this. So he's got that nice and stuck on there. My cup looks kind of weird in there because it's got a football in it. So that is what it looks like with the label on it. I did make one with someone's name on the other side of the cup. Cameron, I guess do you remember the font that you used for the name?
No, not right off. I don't.
It looked like Times New Roman to me. If you guys want to hang around a little bit more, I can use the Glitter Craze Fast Set Epoxy. And epoxy this beauty real fast. I've had a lot of people inquiring about
I need to get a battery pack, I think, because your phone is about to die.
I've had a lot of people ask, let me flip you guys around so you're not talking to my craft room. I've had a lot of people ask me about the Glitter Craze Fast Set. What's the difference? How is it a game changer? Glitter Craze Fast Set sets to the touch. You can touch it within 2 hours. You have about 15 minutes of work time. So if you leave it in your cup or you mix too much epoxy at once before you can get it spread out across all of your cups, it will start getting hot and it will set inside of your cup. So after 2 hours, you can go back in again and use another layer of epoxy on it. You can do another layer of Fast Set if you want to. Now, the important part about the Glitter Craze Fast Set is that you need to make sure that you are using an epoxy that has a UV in it, meaning that it has, I forgot the wording that Tammy used the other day, that it has a UV protectant in it, meaning that it will not yellow underneath sunlight. So I had some Fast Set from another company. Before Tammy came out with hers, I actually made an order. And this sat in my craft room. I actually did a lab on this. This sat in my craft room for about a week. And it yellowed within a week. It did not go outside. It was not exposed to outside lighting or anything of that nature. I did not epoxy it with a regular UV epoxy. Art resin is, what I have from the Glitter Craze that I'm going to top the Fast Set with. So if you don't do that quick enough, it can yellow. I haven't had that happen with the Glitter Craze Fast Set yet, but I learned my lesson with not putting another epoxy on top of it from the other company. So I do it within a day or two before I actually let it sit. These cups over here have Fast Set on them.
Don't mind me.
He's just getting a power cord, an extension cord. They all have Fast Set on them. I did them earlier today. I wasn't fast enough to come back and do another layer. Before I go to bed tonight, I will put the art resin on them so that they do have a UV protectant in it, so I don't have to worry about them yellowing. Hi, Lisa. I just saw you got on. Epoxy for the last coat. So you for the first couple of layers and then use regular. Yes, you can use the Fast Set epoxy for the first couple of layers, and then you want to use a regular resin after that so that it has a UV protectant in it. Now, in mid-June, the end of June, Glitter Craze is coming out with a UV Fast Set epoxy, which means that it is going to have the UV protectant inside of that epoxy. So that means that you can use the UV Fast Set for your top layer. You don't have to worry about going over it with another type of epoxy, and you could do a complete cup in a day. I did a chunky glitter cup within 1 day using the Fast Set. The customer needed it like Sunday or something like that, and she ordered it on Thursday, and I had it done. It's a real game changer. Like, it changes the whole game. I can do a whole cup within a day now, which keeps my orders flowing in and steadily flowing out, which is what I want.
Summer said, what printer do you use, and also what water slides do you use as well?
So right now I've been using the inkjet printer.
She uses the
Epson
Epson.
inkjet.
The Epson XP340. We have a Cis Ink continuous flow, so that way you get continuous ink. I've been asked to do a live on that one as far as helping you guys with that, so I'm more than happy to. And then what water slides do you use?
I use water slides from Amazon. I have to look. This is for my inkjet printer, as I do have a laser printer now. I just haven't set it up yet.
Shannon said, do you have fluorescent light?
No, I do not. Mine are just regular light bulbs. They're like the screw-in light bulbs. They're not fluorescent. Epoch paper. This is the #1 brand I buy from Amazon for my inkjet printer. I think I got the same exact brand, but for the laser printer. So that's what I use, and I sometimes buy white water slide if I can do it.
Oh, that's what people were trying to tell you what word you were looking for. Inhibitor.
Inhibitor, there you go. Inhibitor. That is the word I was looking for. Yes, it has a UV inhibitor.
Can't wait till next month when Tammy gets the fast set. Summer said that's awesome. Judy said, how many layers will you put on the wood grain cup?
I will probably put maybe 2 or 3 layers. If everything is smooth by the second layer, I'm done with it. The most important thing with water slides, wood grains, anything like that, where the water can get underneath it and start deteriorating your water slide or your alcohol ink or anything of that nature, you want to make sure that you at least do 2 coats of epoxy, sometimes 3. If you feel any bumps in it after your epoxy gets hard, you can sand it down and do another layer. When you sand it, you will see scratches in your epoxy. You'll see like fine scratches from your sandpaper. When you epoxy it again, that will go away. It will shine right back up. So that's another question that I know a lot of people don't want to ask, but it is a very good question. The epoxy seals all the cracks and crevices from sanding and all that good stuff.
She said, which is better, laser or inkjet? And wait, are you able to use the quick set with the mica swirl? And then Lisa said, it reminds me, yes, I did do the experiment, and the inkjet with the sealing method you taught are much more vibrant than the laser ones I was using. So, which is better, laser or inkjet? I guess it's really tit for tat. It's up to your personal preference.
The main benefit of a laser printer is you're not supposed to have to seal your water slides. When you do them on an inkjet printer, you have to seal them. On a laser printer, you do not. You have to go through a whole sealing process through the inkjet printer, which usually takes me a whole day because I forget that they're outside, and then I go back inside, and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta go do another layer on that, and they'll just sit outside all day.
Are you able to use quick set with a mica swirl?
I would think so, as long as you can work really fast. I wouldn't do it if you're mixing 3 or 4 different colors, because you have to work extremely fast. You have about 10 to 15 minutes of work time from when you initially mix the 2 A and B epoxies together. When you mix the hardener and the resin together, you have about 10 to 15 minutes of work time before it starts to get hot and harden in your cup. I did waste a cup before, and if you mix too much, it will set faster because the heat in it, it sets faster. I have seen some people's molds sometimes smoke because it gets really hot, but it's not hot enough that I've ever been concerned about anything.
Yeah, because one person asked if you use a respirator with the fast set.
I do not use a respirator at all. Shame on me. I do not. I cannot breathe in them. I feel suffocated. I can't breathe in them, so I do not. I don't smell anything when I'm doing any of the epoxy from the Glitter Craze. I don't have any smell that I smell, so that's not a big issue to me either.
Someone said, can you do a tutorial on how to do X-ray flower water slide using the Design Space? She doesn't really use Design Space much, do you?
No, I don't really use
And Wanda said, are you going to seal a Jack Daniel cup?
So I sealed the Jack Daniels cup before I actually stuck the vinyl onto it. I went outside and I dusted it really fast with a matte clear Rust-Oleum spray paint. So that actually kept the alcohol ink, it sealed the alcohol ink so that when I put the vinyl on, if for some reason it wasn't completely straight and I peeled it back off, it wouldn't peel the alcohol ink off with it. So I sealed it before I actually stuck the vinyl to it. Now, when you do seal it, if you go back in my video and you re-watch this, you will see that parts of my cup did turn green from the clear spray paint. I've had that happen almost every time that I've done it. I've had it turn green almost every time that I've epoxied it. That seems to be something that's very normal for
And you're
it.
probably going to see it do it now.
Yeah, I can actually, I'm going to go ahead and seal it.
And
I'm gonna epoxy it.
Tanya says what type of sandpaper, because I know there's different ones, 120, 320, so on. It's really just according to what your preference
Yeah,
is. It depends on how much you need to sand it down.
I have sanding blocks. I always use sanding blocks. Some people use sandpaper. I notice it tears apart on me. I have a rougher one. It's kind of smoother on this side. I don't know the grits on these, as you can tell. So
She has rough, not rough, and kind of rough.
Not rough, and kind of rough. I don't really know the grits. As long as it gets down the area that I need to be sanded down, like if there's a bump under my epoxy or something like that, then that's my main concern. And it always seems to clean back up once I epoxy over it. I have had before, I had a cup fall on the ground, and I used my, what is that thing with Jiggy?
Dremel.
Dremel. I used my Dremel tool on it, so I have done that as well. So I'm going to get...
Shannon said don't mix the mic. I guess the mica swirls and the med cups. It'll set fast.
Yeah. I haven't tried it yet. I don't really do much with mica. I have almost every single color that the Glitter Craze carries, but I don't do much with mica powders. So...
And Valerie says she doesn't seal with her laser. She just prints, places, and epoxies.
Yep. That's what I've heard everybody saying too. So for this cup, I'm going to do 15 milliliters. Over a chunky glitter or something like that, and I'll do 10. Because I poured too much. There we go. So that's A, Glitter Craze Fast Set B. I talk to myself like this all the time in case you guys were wondering. So, whoops, all of my stir sticks are in my little jizzy jar here. Yeah, that's right, I said it, jizzy jar. I put them in here because I have a really bad habit of not cleaning them off after the epoxy. That is acetone inside of a plastic container. And it eats off all the epoxy. Because if you try to get it off with a knife, ask Cameron, you can cut the ball off. That's
Yep,
right.
in case you guys weren't curious.
In case you were curious, you can cut this little ball off.
Yep.
Because epoxy is stronger than a steel blade. So, I always start with this end. I get these sticks from the Glitter Craze. I'm very impatient when it comes to epoxy. I have a torch. I have lots of torches. I have a smaller torch that I use on my molds. Yes, shh, don't tell Tammy or Lindsay. I use a torch on my molds. A little baby one though. It's not like the big one.
Valerie says brilliant. I need to do that. I cut myself with it today.
Ouch.
Your stir stick?
No, probably the knife trying to get
Be
big
careful.
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually cut myself with a box cutter the other day in my hand. I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah, I cut myself the other day trying to open up a car remote.
I don't have the Rona, I promise. I mean, maybe.
If she's got it, I've got it. Debbie says, "Oh hell, I have to mark my lines on her measuring cups, on my measuring cups."
Oh, mine's got lines on it.
Yeah,
Mine's got little lines on it. These are little medicine cups. I ordered them from some company that had like 100 for $1 one time. It's like some medical company. So they have measurements on them.
Be careful, Valerie. She said, "Yes, the knife."
I'm not that good with epoxy. Tammy is. I'm not. She says she eyeballs her epoxy. I'd have a mess. The other day I got confused about which part I actually put in. So I was like, I'm not going to mix the A and B together until I know for sure how I'm going to do this cup, right? Well, I poured one of them in the cup and I was like, shit, I don't remember which one I poured in there. So I poured the other one in there that I thought that I didn't pour in there the first time, and they started heating up and I was like, ha, I got it right.
Valerie says she doesn't measure. Right, so that's like Tammy talking the other night. She's like, you know, she doesn't have that much of a problem.
My baby wipes. I don't know where my baby wipes are. This is why I'm really bad. Yeah. So we're just gonna do that. So my epoxy is mixed thoroughly. It has a ton of bubbles in it because I'm completely impatient and I stir the shit out of that stuff. when I hit it with my torch, all the bubbles are going to pop anyways. A lot of them actually pop when you spread it onto your cup. Now
My toes are underneath your chair, by the way.
Ooh, so if I roll back, I may squish it?
Yes.
That may be something to consider. So with this cup, even though it is sealed, I try to touch it as minimal as possible. So once I go over an area, I don't want to go over it again, just in case it is not sealed in that area and my epoxy can mess up the alcohol ink. Because if it can turn it green, I feel like it could mess it up and mess up the stroke marks in it. You can tell you can't really see any bubbles on this cup because the pressure from your hand and the warmth of your hand actually pops a lot of the bubbles when the epoxy gets hot inside of your cup and it starts doing its little chemical thing. It'll start popping the bubbles too. The most places you can see bubbles are on the black lines. On a solid black cup, you can see them very well.
Megan said I'm new at this one. When you use the quick epoxy, how many layers do you have to apply? How quick does it dry? It's according to feel.
Dries in 2 hours to the touch. You can pick it up, throw it around. You do want to cover it. You want to go over with a UV, what was that word again?
Inhibitor.
Inhibitor epoxy, like a regular epoxy. You want to go over that with a regular epoxy over it. Unless you are buying from the Glitter Craze and you get that UV fast set that Tammy's coming out with in mid-June. Super stoked about that. Can't talk enough about it. Then you will not have to do a regular coat of epoxy over it because it has the UV inhibitor already in the fast set. First company I've ever heard of doing it. It's going to be awesome.
And the number of layers is depending on
Yeah, it just depends.
smoothness.
So this one, if I would do 2 layers, so I would do a layer of this, and if it was really smooth, I would go back over with another layer of an epoxy that had the UV inhibitor in it. You know, it really just depends on the cup. You could do 3, 4, 5, 6 layers of the UV fast, or the fast set epoxy, and then do one layer of the epoxy that has the UV in it.
Carla says how much is the fast drying epoxy?
I don't know the prices right off the top of my head. The website is www.glittercraze.com. GLITTERCRAZE.com. Don't buy it all out because I'm going to go buy some later. I'm just kidding. I already have mine. She did have the pre-order up for the UV fast set. So
Megan said how long does it take if you work with regular epoxy? 6 to 8 hours.
6 to 8 hours dry time before you can actually touch it. Sometimes it's a little bit faster, sometimes it's a little bit slower depending on your area and the temperature and humidity in your room. For me, it's about 6 hours before I can touch it for a regular epoxy. This is literally 2 hours. It will set in this cup right here if I let it. So I've got some extra epoxy. I'm going to pour this in a mold. Because yes, I use fast set in my molds. Let's pick a pretty color. Ooh, let's use this pretty new blue one that I got in my subscription box from the Glitter Craze. Let's make a pretty blue skull. This is Diamond Series Sea Breeze. Yes, I got epoxy on that label. Brand new, never opened. I think it actually came in on Monday? Saturday? Monday. It was Monday.
And you said what font did you use? That's actually just a trace from the Jack Daniels label. She can send that to you.
I'm going to post it in the group probably tomorrow. So I'm mixing this up. Very pretty color. And I'm going to pour it in my skull mold. I can't talk today. I think it's all the vodka. Vodka. So I can feel it getting hot to the touch inside of this cup because I've been working with it for a few minutes. Ooh, shit, I just dropped some epoxy on the carpet. The rug, it's fine. It's a fugly rug anyways.
Megan said where can you buy the fast drying epoxy?
Glitter Craze. actually
And
carries
Michelle
it.
said, just got my first subscription box and love the colors. That one's my favorite.
Yes. I used the Ember, I think is what it's called, the other day in one of my other molds, and it was very pretty. I like to scrape all of it out of my cup. But even molds, I did these molds the other day, skull mold, the ear savers mold for the masks, and they were set within 2 hours. It was awesome. And yes, I don't have quite enough epoxy for that mold. So, this is what I do. Mix a little bit more, if I could see my lines in my cup. Let it even out, 2.5.
The Lysol cup you did, was that a print and cut? No, that was a water
actually
slide.
a water slide wrap. I did a tutorial on that as well in this page. You can look up my name, and you should be able to see all of my tutorials. You can also go to the albums of this group and look up. There's going to be an album called Heather's Lives. And in the comments, you will see all of the lives, links to all the lives. You just click on the links and it will take you straight to my lives.
Tanya said, what's that pink thing?
This?
This pink thing.
Oh, it's a mold. It's my skull mold. It makes these.
Which are straw
It's
toppers.
a straw topper skull mold. God, I can't talk. This is the Ember. That was in a subscription box. And I have one on top of my cup as well. I put rhinestones in his eyes. He was made with Diamond Series Black, which is like the only black that shimmers under epoxy.
Carol says, have you used the ear saver mask mold with a mask?
Yes, I have. I have this small one, and I've used this with one of my masks.
Gorgeous face, by the way.
I choked on glitter, okay? It's not like it's unnormal around here. Alright, so I've got my epoxy all mixed up.
Tanya said, where can she buy one? The mold.
Glitter Craze.
Pretty much everything she gets is glitter
Everything,
craze.
all of the stuff that I get, my alcohol inks, my cups when they have them in stock, all my molds I get from the Glitter Craze. I do have like one or two here and there that are from Etsy. They're usually pretty X-rated because I have some weird customers, aka mostly my boss. But most of my stuff, my epoxy comes from there, these stir sticks come from there. I think you can even get these little cups right here from the Glitter Craze. So,
Valerie said, wait till you see the freeze frames from this live I sent you.
oh my god. So, you can see it's like not all the way in there. So I kind of bounce it around, get the bubbles out the bottom. You're going to see me hit it with a torch in a second. I got to hit my cup over there with a torch too. So, I'm going to put that right there. We're going to put it right there because it's not going to stick to that. Let me find my baby torch.
It's right there underneath the brushes.
Ah, there it is. Baby torch. I got this from Dollar General. Go over it. You'll see that a lot of it will go back into the mold because when you warm it up, it thins it back out.
Debbie said, I'm telling.
Shh, don't tell.
What's the whole point behind that? You're not supposed to hit them with?
No, you're supposedly not supposed to hit the molds with a torch because it can burn your molds and mess them up. However, you can stick your molds, silicone molds you use for baking and things like that too. So, but yeah, you see that cup has a beautiful finish on it, and in 2 hours it will be completely dry to the touch. I can grab it, toss it around, throw it at Cameron's head, and it'll be perfectly fine. And And one thing with your molds, when you pull them back, you'll see after it's set a couple seconds, it's got some more bubbles on top. They keep rising to the top of the epoxy inside of the mold. So you just want to keep lightly hitting it. Shh, don't tell Tammy. This is the only way that I found really gets the bubbles out of my molds. If you get a bubble in your mold, you'll notice that it has like a hole in it. It dries with like a hole. And that's very important when it comes to things like your ear saver molds or your earrings or things like that you make. So you just go back every few seconds. Now that mold will be set and dry to the touch for me to pull out within 2 hours as well, because it is the Glitter Craze Fast Set. I'm gonna leave it alone now.
Everybody started laughing when you said throw the cup at my head, and then she said, "Not sweet Cameron."
Never him. Okay, so that is all that I have for my tutorial. I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by and saying hello, and especially telling me everywhere where everybody is watching me. Like, that is so cool that everybody's all over the place and watching me in my little stinking Rinkin city, doing my cups. If you have any questions, inbox me. If I missed a question, I usually go back and I look at all of the questions on my lives, and you will probably get a response from me. Probably won't be today, but it will most likely be tomorrow or the next day. Any questions, private message me. If you want to see me do something, a certain tutorial or anything like that, we're going to get to sublimation soon. I know a lot of people ask me to do sublimation. That's going to be one of my next things that I do. But if you find something else you want to see me do, message me, tag me in a post. If you have a problem with the cup, post a picture, tag me in it. My name is Heather Riggs on Facebook. I'd be happy to help.
Yeah, so Valerie said alcohol spritz works too. Talking about for the molds. Rhonda says, first time watching you, love your lives. I watched Lindsay and Tammy, now I have to watch you. Amanda says, love the Jack Daniels cup, great job. Melissa says, love the rhinestone cup. Angie says, you can spritz some alcohol into the mold to pop the bubbles. Debbie says, you got that DG. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. But that's the same one that said not me, so I'm not sure what she meant. Liz says, thank you, good night. Everybody says, thank you. Megan said, well, you need to epoxy it again.
Yeah, I will definitely do at least one more layer of epoxy. If it's very smooth on this layer, I will go back over it with the art resin and do one more layer. I always at least do 2 or 3 layers of epoxy on an alcohol ink cup or something with a water slide. So I will definitely go back over it with the Glitter Craze art resin over the top of this fast set layer, if it's smooth to the touch. If it is not, then I will probably do one more layer of quick set and then do another layer of the art resin.
Shannon said, thank you for sharing. Carrie says, thank you. Valerie says, talk to you later. She said, thanks, Cameron and Heather. Diane says, thank you, great instruction. Carrie says, teach me to use my Cameo 4. We're happy to. Just message us directly. We don't mind doing live chats with people.
Yeah, I've done video calls with several people in this group to try and help them with some of the things that they had problems with. I don't have a problem video messaging you and be like, hey, watch how I do this. I can definitely do that if I know how to do it. So I do a lot of research. My brain is full of irrelevant knowledge, so I should be able to help in some way.
Jennifer said, thank you so much. Learn lots from you. Good night. Michelle said, thank you so much. Allison said, great camera work too. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, Debbie said, DG stands for Dollar General.
Dollar General, yes. Or we gotta go down there to that Dollar General.
Carla said, oh my God. Carla said, does the art resin have an odor?
Not that I've smelled, but of course my sniffer kind of sucks. But I haven't smelled an odor with it. I haven't smelled an odor with the quick set. Before Glitter Craze came out with their epoxy, I was using Counterculture. They had a little bit of an odor that I could smell once it started to warm up, but I didn't really smell an odor from that, and I started off for my first ever cups with Pro Marine. So, and I didn't smell an odor from that either.
Carol says, is it okay that I use Alumilite? I'm assuming that's a type of epoxy.
Yes, that is a type of epoxy. From what I've read, that one yellows rather quickly.
Lisa said,
that's just what I've read.
yes. I don't want to botch her name. Once somebody says, where do you get the quick set?
I get it from the Glitter Craze.
Lisa said, thanks. Jennifer says, awesome tutorial, thank you. Valerie says, we need to do that with this damn blade. To my Cameo 4.
Yes.
Carrie says, I have not even plugged it in. And Shannon says, do you do print and cut?
I do know how to do print and cut, yes.
So we can go over that on future live if you guys would like. Or you can always just inbox us directly and we'll help you out any way we can. So for now,
Good night.
good night.
Good night, all you cool crafting critters.